Good morning, everybody. It's Anna and Kerry from the Active IQ marketing team. And of course, we are here to talk about this year's AOC National Fitness Trainer Competition. We are joined this morning by the lovely Christopher Pitts, who is the AOC Business Partnerships Executive, and of course, Angus, who is the Regional Development Officer. Good morning to you both.
Morning, both.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad.
Good.
Oh, it's really good to see you, because it's nearly been a year since, obviously, 2019 NEC. Good times, obviously. What have you guys been up to since then? Christopher, can we start with you?
Yeah, it's been an odd year. Weird to think that this time last year we would have been getting all of the plans in place to move into the NEC for about 2 weeks and build our pop-up gym. But hey ho, the world changes. It's been a whirlwind year for the competition and for us at AOC, but we're loving where we've got to and the place that we're in now with the competition, so yeah, can't complain.
And Angus, what it's been like for you since we saw you in Birmingham?
Yeah, again, it's been an absolute whirlwind. You wouldn't have been able to guess that this would be the position we're in, but we're happy with the outcome of our competition. But yeah, we've had to really adapt and change this year.
Oh. So obviously, Christopher, your role at AOC has changed, because obviously normally, you've been doing the competition for how many years now since it started, really?
5 or 6, yeah. There are a few people that have been around for longer than me, but yeah.
But I'm sure they don't look as fresh-faced as yourself.
Don't tell the judges that.
Well, we're talking to them next week, so we'll soon find out. Can you tell us a little bit more about your new role and what that entails, so we can find out more about you?
Yeah, so for the past 5 years, I was the competition manager for the fitness trainer competition under AOC Sport. I was our official delegate out in Russia when we were at World Skills Kazan. But I've now moved on, so I'm working with the Association of Colleges now more broadly, and I'm happy really to pass the mantle on to Angus to manage the competition going forward. We've got an incredible team of judges and technical experts, industry partners who all support the competition, and it's that collective effort that makes the competition what it is. So I'm sad in a way that it's been absolutely brilliant working on the competition for the past 5 years, and I've got 1 month left. I think 1 month and 6 days left of this year's competition cycle before I completely hand over the torch.
Not that you're counting.
No, not at all. I just had to look then to work it out.
Oh, I love that. And obviously over to you, Angus. So how are you feeling about it? Obviously, big shoes to fill, I'm sure. So, how are you feeling about taking on this massive role?
I'm really excited, to be honest. I've been involved with the competition as support for the competition for about 3 years, so I have some insight, and now to take it on the role, it's going to be good fun. I'm excited for it.
Oh, because let's be honest, the competition is just absolutely amazing. We absolutely love doing the sponsorship part of it and taking part in it. And over the last few days, we've been doing lots of interviews with the finalists, getting to know them. So obviously we haven't met all of them yet, so there's a few more to come. But we spoke to Danielle, who's obviously the reigning champ that we know very well from 2019. Took gold. So how is the competition shaping up so far from your viewpoint, Christopher? Because again, it just seems that when we meet these new finalists, it's almost like the bar just keeps getting higher and higher.
It's been so interesting this year to see how the competitors have all really stepped up to the challenge that's been laid out to them. Obviously, it's been a completely different challenge for them this year because we've not seen them in person once, but they've taken part in 3 different stages of competition by this point already. We were really lucky to work with such a great team of experts and judges who so quickly responded to the changing needs of the fitness industry and rewrote the competition essentially back in March when we went into the first lockdown. They were able to completely tailor the competition to look at, right, well, what does a modern personal trainer need to do to keep the world active while we're all at home? People have lost jobs, people are off work on furlough, people are struggling to do childcare or relative care, do homeschooling, but there's still this gauntlet laid down for stay active It's great for your mental health, your physical well-being. You need to keep active, and PTs had a role to play in that. We rewrote the competition to reflect that, and seeing how differently each of the competitors rose to that challenge was so interesting. We had group sessions and one-to-one sessions which utilized tech in such an innovative way, with multiple camera angles on PT and client to correctly observe technique. Absolutely incredible. The breadth of their talent this year surpasses every previous year, and it will only continue to do so.
Oh yeah, no, it's, I mean, 2020, I mean, what a challenging year for everybody. But so Angus, if we come to you, of course, for everyone watching, and of course, you know, all of the heats have taken place, because obviously, you know, you've got your finalists now. You know, can you tell us obviously a little bit how those heats took place? You know, what did they have to do in those heats?
Okay, so this year was a little bit different because we had to move everything onto Zoom and online. So we saw none of the PTs and clients in person. It was all through Zoom. They got invited. We invited, I think, the top 30 competitors through to the heats, which we then held Zoom PT sessions with them. This could either be with a group of clients or a single client. They were assessed against criteria by our expert judges. And then they also had to show some hard skills techniques in this stage, where they were also judged on that, and submit a session plan as well towards that. And then from there, we've then taken the top 10 through to our national final.
Okay, fantastic. And Angus, can you tell us obviously how many colleges took part, and how many people you had in the heats overall?
Or off the top of my head,
sorry.
Off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but we had.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go on then.
So over 100 colleges and private training providers take part in the competition every single year, and that's from anything from just taking our resources at the start of term and embedding the competition into curriculum, right through to taking part in the heats. Like Angus said, yeah, we invited the top 40 national competitors to the heats of the competition, and they were whittled down already by having to submit a video of them working. That was pre-lockdown, so feels like a very long time ago now. And then we saw the top 40.
And you know, Christopher and Angus, do you sort of see sort of the same colleges take part? Did you see an influx of new colleges take part that haven't taken part in previous years? Christopher, sorry to take that to you.
Yeah, we see both. We see there's this great core of colleges who are completely on board with skills competitions and absolutely understand the value that they can add to the competitor in soft skills, hard skills, technical skills. But every year we grow, we see new colleges coming through. There's the great position that we have as the Association of Colleges to reach that audience of 244 colleges in England, that new ones come through. And what we love actually is seeing those new colleges make it through to the heats and make it through to the finals. So we've got Havant and South Downs, for example, are a college that competed last year. They had 2 students in the finals. They've got students again in this finals, but previously to that, they hadn't competed for a few years. So seeing that growth year on year is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, you've got colleges like Coleg Gwent in South Wales, who I think probably have the record for the most finalists in most years. And that's just because the tutors, the management, the principals, the structure at the college supports the competition so well. And they've got people there that understand exactly what we're looking for, real practitioners in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, this competition gives so much more than just a medal. And we spoke to Danielle yesterday, so reigning champ, and I think she put it in a really nice way actually. And she said actually, she took more away than just the medal. It wasn't just the medal for her. Her whole being changed. She got more confidence. She's got an amazing business now. That's on flying. And you can literally see from obviously when we met her at the start, the competition, that she completely changed. And so when she was saying to us yesterday, the medal's great, but that's not the be and end all. I mean, it's the whole experience of it. I mean, Angus, what do you think as well? That anyone taking part in the competition, that does for them really, for their soft skills and their career really.
I think at all levels, there's a lot of benefits to the competition. It puts people to test themselves beyond a normal assessment would. To get to the finals, especially, is a great platform. We have brilliant partners involved, and there's lots to gain from it. Even if you don't win, you're still going to gain a lot from it, gain that exposure, and it's there on a plate for you to take and make the most of. But then, of course, if you're the winner, then you get that little bit extra, where you're seen as the pinnacle, I guess, in the competition. But yeah, so there's a lot to take from it as long as you grab it.
So, and of course, I appreciate, like you say, you guys haven't, you normally would meet them in the heats face to face. Of course, you've obviously met them now, on this face to face, this new way of 2020 and the new world, so to speak. So, Christopher, what has it been like for you, sort of like meeting and interacting with them in this way?
I think you're absolutely right. This is the way that we interact as professionals in our social lives. So it's been interesting to meet them as, we see them as names first. We see them as names on a form, then we see them as video competitors and seeing some of their technical work coming through. Then we see them actually working with a client and responding to the needs of their client much more holistically than we do in the videos. And interacting with them then on their social media platforms. It's a different picture. It is a different world, the sort of online PT world, but it's becoming now part of the wider health and fitness industry. It was a trend in 2019 and previously. It's a necessity. It's an integral part now in 2020 going forward. So we love interacting with the PTs virtually, and those that pick that up, which all of our finalists do, can grab hold of that and make so much out of it, take the advantage that they've got.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a new world, and it's great to actually hear this year's finalists, going, I never used to use Zoom before now, and then obviously I know they're using it all the time now. They're deadpans. So Angus, if we can come to you, of course, 2020 start off, you had all your plans in place for this year's competition, back at the NEC. And of course, the lovely COVID hit, and of course, UK, the world has changed since then. Of course, the AOC team, the judges, you've obviously had to do, so much hard work behind the scenes. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you guys had to adapt and, and what change you had to make, and sort of like the time frame that you worked within that to get the heats, to actually get them done?
So it was March that we found out about the lockdown situation with COVID. And that was about the time when we would be starting to think about and organise our regional heats for the competition. So we were, for a bit, we were a little bit in limbo with it, what was going to happen. We were working towards World Skills time frame. But obviously with the situation we're in, that all got cancelled. So we then had to make the decision what we were going to do with the competition moving forward. So we then decided that we'd push the live heats online, which was quite an easy transfer. They still basically did the same thing as we would normally in the live heats, but just over Zoom. So they'd PT their client and then be assessed on some hard skills. So that was quite an easy transfer. And then it came to the national finals, what we were going to do with the national finals, which we then had to really relook at how we were going to do that and reform what the assessment would be. So we've created, our partners have created a brilliant program of which they'll be assessed against, which hopefully provides quite a rounded overview of what it's like to be a PT, especially in the current circumstances through Zoom. So the PTs have to submit 3 things before the competition. So they'll have to submit a video promotional video, a home equipment demo, and then their 12-week plan, progressive plan. And then for the live competition, they'll be assessed with their client, doing a PT session. They'll have to demonstrate their home equipment, so re-demonstrate it to show that they can replicate an exercise. And then they'll have to attend an interview with our leisure partner, discuss their business understanding with the judges, as well as take part in a media interview with Active IQ. So that's where we're at with the competition.
There's a lot of hard work for them to do, and it's a massive thing really to get through to the finals, from the 40 to now down. So normally there are about 8 finalists. Can you tell us more about the decision to kind of add the additional finalists for this year?
Because we came away from World Skills, we felt like we had a bit more freedom with how we deliver the competition. We saw a number of amazing competitors, and we felt that it was a big good decision to give more opportunity to more people. So we made that call that we'd do that. But obviously we had to keep it within a manageable number. We'd love to take more and more through, but we had to cap it at a certain amount.
Absolutely. So obviously, as you know, we're getting to know the finalists this year, and we haven't met all of them, but we've got the interviews this week and next week. Can you tell us your thoughts on this year's finalists so far?
I think it will be a really tight competition. Everyone's really stepped up to the plate. Obviously, it's a difficult time this year. They've had to really adapt. When people entered the competition, they had no idea that it was going to be like this. They would have seen previous years and thought that that's what the competition is. But they've all taken it in their stride, and I think it would be a really great competition. I think there's some really great competitors there.
There are. The ones that we've spoken to already. I'm like, oh my god, we can never call it anyway. I remember sitting with you both at the medal ceremony last year, and I was still going, I can't call it. I can't. They're all too good. They all need to win. Coming back to you, Christopher. Of course, the judges have a criteria that they set to, and but again, they have not got an easy job, have they?
No, they really don't. And in a way, the flexibility of the competition is what makes it difficult to call, because we can quite easily see a mature student who maybe specialises in pre and postnatal fitness alongside a young student who's planning to go into HE and really focus on sports coaching, strength and conditioning, nutrition, and we can see those sorts of people side by side competing in the same competition, and the judges have to be able to judge both objectively and subjectively against the criteria that are set.
Yeah. That's quite a big thing to do, and I know for one, I think I'd struggle to do it, because like I say, all the finalists we've spoken to already have got, you think, oh my god, okay, you've got that experience, and okay, you're going down that route, and it's just like, they've all got something so unique to give and offer the competition, and of course, their own businesses and the industry. How do they make the call? I just, how does it happen? Can you give us a little bit more about the judging process?
Yeah, so we have 2 types of judging criteria: objective and subjective. So the objective judgments are, did they do something, yes or no? And that's how lots of the other competitions that we used to work with operated. We looked at bricklaying, plumbing. It was, is this angle, that angle? Is this measurement, this measurement? So there were certain elements that are like that within our competition. But the majority, because it's a soft competition, it's about the softer skills, the holistic nature of the competitors, how much they can connect with their clients. A lot more of ours is subjective, it's judgment based. So our judges work in teams of 2 or 3 normally. So 2 with a head judge working over them. They make their own independent judgments as experts, so they don't confer at any point. They then come together at the end of the day once they've seen everybody, and then confer their notes and just make sure that they're sort of within tolerances of each other, so that one can't give a 0 and a 3, for example. They have to be relatively close. This year's really exciting, though. Again, like Angus said, because we're running this finals outside of the framework of World Skills UK, we had a little bit more freedom to try some new ideas out and do kind of a bit more of what we wanted to do with the competition. So we've got a panel who are judging the promotional videos, which you're sitting on, Kerry, as well as some of our marketing experts from the AOC as well, and Angus will be sitting on that group. So we've got that element of the competition, which is judged by a panel of people who understand that task. As Angus said as well, we've got a leisure partner who is conducting interviews for us, so to bring that style from the competition. So really we're blending that judging experience this year so much more than we've been able to do in the past, when we've had to use qualified assessors to strictly judge the competition. Oh, and we've actually got it's 2 of our past competitors who will be part of the judging process this year as well. So that's nice that we've been able to incorporate them back into the cycle. They were 17-year-old students, went through their 2 years at a college, entered the competition, achieved really well, have gone out and done great things in the industry, and now want to come back and give back to the next generation of PTs.
And I love that about the competition, because we always say it's the AOC family. Because again, speaking to Danielle yesterday, she's like, I've kept in touch with, so many of the girls of the finalists in there. We're speaking to the finalists from Colleague Went, because obviously there's 4 of them this year, and they're like, we're all sharing ideas, and we've got our own little Zoom chat and things like that. So it's, and obviously, and they always say how amazing the AOC team are to support them through this process. What are the challenges do you think they come across, Angus, and how do they face it on going through this process of being a finalist?
Through the competition, I guess the challenge is making sure that you're prepared and your knowledge is up to scratch, and just really understanding what's being asked of you, and then really putting that into practice and putting your knowledge and understanding, which they all have to have got to this position, they all have. It's just putting that into practice, understanding the question and the criteria, and putting that all into practice. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is to make sure that you meet the brief, answer the brief.
Yeah. And I also thought it was interesting when Danielle said yesterday as well about, she said the best thing for her as well as part of the competition was getting the feedback from the judges. She said that was amazing for her, because getting that professional expert advice and feedback, she just took that on and went, brilliant, great, I can now get better, I can learn, I can adapt that. Again, Christopher, these judges again give all their time freely, don't they? So we should really just a big thank out to a big shout out and thank you to the judges, really. And of course we speak to them next week, which will be exciting. But they put a lot of hard work into it, don't they? And their passion.
They do. They are true experts in the industry. I think one year when we do a judge training day right at the start of the year, just to standardise everybody. And I can't remember the number. I think it may have been around 400 years combined experience of teaching and assessing within the fitness industry. And like you say, they absolutely do give their time freely to the competition. Some of them are with large employers who are partners of ours. Some are with colleges, some with private training providers. Many work as consultants and run their own businesses still as practitioners and PTs as well. And I know it's a really difficult job for them sometimes. They both love it and hate it, because they see the competitors that they see, and they struggle some years to not want to just go over and give them as much support and as much help as they can. But even when we stay at the NEC and they all stay in the same hotel together, they can't even share a lift together, because they don't communicate at all through the competition until, like you say, the very end, when they get their feedback. And that feedback is something that we found is a real value to the entire competition process. So this is what we say to new colleges wanting to enter the competition, that even if competitors only get through as far as the first stage, which is submitting the video and doing the online test, you still get individual written feedback from the judges. And at every stage through the competition, if competitors get through to the finals, I think it works out to be about 12 or 13 different experts from the fitness industry that you will receive individual feedback from. There's no way you can get that in other settings until you get out into industry and start working your way around. So that really is invaluable.
Yeah, it's it's pretty amazing, and of course it's great that you know, your previous finalists, you know, are all saying that as well, you know, because they have really benefited from them, and look where they are now. It's, you know, I mean, for you guys to sort of see, you know, these finalists start where they are, and then to sort of see their growth, you know, and for them to have successful businesses. I mean, both of you must be like, you know, almost like proud parents. Really. I mean, you must be. I mean, how does it make you feel when the competition obviously comes to an end? Angus, we'll start with you.
Yeah, very proud, to be honest. This year, especially because they've had to really take on a challenge. It's in very difficult times. Some of them will be facing difficult times. Being a personal trainer has been difficult in the past few weeks, especially if you're self-employed. It's all been a challenge. They're all at the start of their careers with it. So this year, especially, we're really proud that they've taken it all in their step and really pushed forward the competition. And they've all taken it very seriously as well.
Yeah, they have. And I mean, when we've been talking to them as well, you know, a lot of them have actually said, you know, I had plans to launch my business, you know, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Some of them, which has been amazing to hear, you know, have still launched their business during COVID and lockdown, which is amazing as well. I mean, it really is a credit to these, you know, I mean, they work so hard, don't they, Christopher?
They absolutely do. And they're the ones that have understood what the future of the fitness industry will look like and are preparing now and adapting to it. So those that were thinking, oh, I'm not sure whether to launch my business or not, what they've done is adapted their marketing streams, adapted their income streams, and adapted their speciality to be able to attract the wide enough audience to do what is ultimately their passion. That's why they started on a PT qualification with a college in the first place. It's because they were passionate and they wanted to be a highly skilled professional and going out there in the industry. It's brilliant to see where so many of them, going back to, I think 2015 was my first year on the competition, and I'm still in touch with some of those PTs now. They still want to talk about the industry. They still want to talk about how they can get involved and how they can come back. And it's because above being a great PT and an inspirational college student, which all of them are, they're actually just brilliant people. They are lovely people that you want to know and that you want to work with and that you want to support in whatever way you can, whether we know them virtually or whether we know them physically.
Yeah, no, it's you know, that they are. I mean, I'm excited to speak to the rest of the finalists. So I can't wait. No, I mean, we just love it. So Angus, I know earlier you sort of gave us a little snippet about, you know, the road ahead, you know, what that looks like for this year's finalists. Can you sort of like break it down a little bit more to give us a bit more detail about what those 3 days look like? You know, those final 3 days of the competition for them.
Yeah. So this year normally we'd be at the NEC, so we'd normally be in a 3-day period. But we're having to spread it across. The competitors will book into various Zoom calls from the 17th to the 23rd of October. So they'll be assessed on their PET session with a client. This can be with a client or with a group of clients. They'll then be assessed against the criteria on that. They'll also have to do home equipment demonstration, where they'll demonstrate the using of a simple home object and incorporating it into their session. So this could be cans or water bottles or anything, any household object that is familiar in the household, and then performing some kind of exercise with that. They'll also have to attend an interview with our leisure partner, which will be a series of questions within a set time frame where they'll have to answer and meet again the brief and what we're looking for. And then they'll also have to discuss their business understanding with our judges so that they understand what it's like to be a PT and things like that along those lines. And I think that probably sums up what the competition will be like without giving away too much.
Of course, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to give you like the big top secrets. And I know when we were with you at NEC, it's like, you know, the sort of the new equipment was those you know, blaze pods, wasn't it? And they're all, oh, you know, we don't get to see them, we don't get to play with them. It's just like, and it's all the excitement. So from what the finalists have been sort of telling us, you know, that I mean, I know you said about cans and water bottles, but I think they're also saying about wine bottles. Wine bottles, cats, you know, it could be anything. So I'm interested to see that one and then to find out more.
We love seeing that in the heats, that the innovation, and all the judges said it as well, some of the stuff that they hadn't even thought of using. I think somebody used like dusters on a polished laminate floor as sliders.
Wow.
So you could do like a mountain climber on them. There was stuff that people just hadn't even thought of, that was this incredible way of utilising the most basic household equipment for a really effective PT session. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't making it any easier for them, are you, at all? I mean, anyone watching would say, like, give the guys a break, I mean, you're not making it any easier at all, are these competition is getting harder and harder, right?
It does get more challenging, yeah. We try and stretch the competitors at each level, but I think one of the biggest downfalls sometimes that we see every year is competitors that overthink the task and the criteria. Actually, sometimes the task is quite simple, and what we're asking is for 5 relatively clear criteria points, and it's about hitting those criteria well and not worrying about the extra things which may not earn you points in the same way as out in the world, out in the industry. You can't afford to spend additional time doing something that's not going to make you money, retain your clients, and provide that great service. If you can squeeze, which is why we've challenged them on time. We give them a relatively short time to complete most of the tasks there live in person. So we'll do a 30-minute PT session or a 45-minute PT session, where people think, well, you get an hour to do that in assessment. But if you can squeeze your PT session into 45 minutes, how many extra PT sessions can you sell in a day? Or how much extra admin time do you have? Or how much time do you have to keep on top of your social media? It's these challenges that's the space we want to push the PTs into and help them grow into, rather than giving them 3 hours to say everything and hope that some of it sticks. Yeah.
And I suppose with the way that things are this year, with how different things are, it's given them a new way to think about it and adapt in a different way, and give people, it's kind of positive in some ways, because you're thinking about things in a different way. So, for example, obviously with going digital, Angus, can you tell us what the medal ceremony will now look like and what the plans are for that?
Yeah, so the plan is to host a Zoom call with all the competitors, and give a few announcements, a few speeches from various partners, and then we'll announce the winners, and then we'll have a formal announcement in the evening with various clips and videos included within that in the evening. So competitors will know, but they'll have to keep it quiet until the formal announcement in the evening.
Bless them. So of course, normally when we're at the NEC and there is the medal ceremony and parts of the competition, is there any way that people can view any parts of the competition online, like live or as a webinar or anything?
Yeah, we plan to pull some clips online, and the part of our final announcement will involve some video footage. Yeah, is there anything else, Christopher? That's
it. So parts of the competition are always public. So where at the NEC we try and engage with as many people as we can at the show. We'll be doing the same thing across our social media platforms, and I'm sure across the Active IQ social platforms as well, in that week, from Saturday the 17th through to Friday the 23rd of October, which is also Colleges Week at the Association of Colleges. So part of our Love Our Colleges campaign, it's the national celebration week for everything to do with FE. So it times really nicely, actually, that our medal ceremony, which is a celebration and a showcase of everything these competitors have done, will also close out the Association of Colleges Week in 2020. So people, any viewer can follow us across all of our social media platforms, and they'll see things like those home equipment demos that Angus mentioned. We'll be publishing those, as well as the promotional videos that each of the PTs are making. And again, like Angus said earlier, if the competitors utilise their finalist status to springboard their careers, they can also leverage off our social media, utilise that, and be reposting, be much more active on social media during that week than they probably would have been able to do if we were at the NEC, because that's such an absorbing environment to be in. You really have to focus on 3 days of intense activity, whereas the new competition actually should fit in with their day-to-day life.
Christopher, what are you going to do without running around the NEC like you normally do?
I'm still going to be there next year. I'm determined I will be there. Just hopefully walking around slowly and enjoying myself rather than running around with a clipboard. Yeah.
Bless you. So basically, Angus, you'll be running around the show, panicking, stressing, making sure everything's okay. And Christopher, like, this is great.
That's it. We will hopefully be back there next year. And registration actually for the 2021 competition, which will be back underneath the WorldSkills UK banner, opens in January of 2021. And the competition will go ahead whether we're allowed to do anything in person, whether we have to be digital again, all of next year. We will be back. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, really big kudos to all of you. I mean, I know there's obviously a massive team that, but you guys work thoroughly hard and have done to obviously adapt this competition and to make, because it would have been such a shame to cancel it. And so many things in 2020 have been cancelled, and it's such a big disappointment. And of course, colleges and universities have gone through a difficult time anyway, with having graduation ceremonies online. And the whole year has had to been adapted to, online and things. And but the fact that you've actually taken it, bull by the horns and actually, managed to keep on going with it online is amazing, and big thanks to the AOC team, really, because we've been gutted to see it be cancelled. Really, we really would have been. So before we close, then, so Angus, what is your favourite bit of the competition you're looking forward to in the finals? What are you waiting to see?
Definitely would be the PT sessions with clients. I think that's the core, the bread and butter, I think, of the competition. That's probably what I'm most looking forward to.
Okay. And Christopher, what are you looking forward to? All these dusters and wine bottles, right?
I think I really want to see the promotional videos. So there's the task where the PTs just get to sell themselves and say how they're different and what their expertise and what their skill set is. Hearing a PT know what they're good at and articulate that, and they've got freedom to do that in whatever way they want, however fancy or however simple they want to make that in video format. I really want to see those, and I'm not part of the judging panel, so again I just get to sit and watch them quite nicely.
You just get all the excitement and the fun now. Poor Angus has got everything to do. So Angus, from your viewpoint, obviously, to any of the finalists watching this video, have you got any sort of last top tips, advice that you might want to share or give to them?
Just make sure you read the question, what's being asked of you, and make sure you read the criteria. As long as you do that, then you'll do great. There's nothing to worry about. It's a really positive experience. Whatever the outcome is of the end goal, it's really positive, and you can make the most of it.
Yeah, because again, it's of course there's a medal ceremony, that there has to be, there has to be that one winner, and obviously the gold, silver, bronze, and the highly commended. But let's be honest, get to be a finalist is a massive achievement, and I think some people don't realise what a massive achievement that is, do they? Angus, sorry.
Well, yeah, it's huge when you think that we've had 100 odd competitors enter, and then to be in the top 10, it's a big achievement. And you're at the start of your career as well, so it's a great platform to push yourself forward. It's just, it's great, really good achievement.
Yeah, brilliant. So Christopher, before we obviously let you guys go, because I know you guys are really busy, of course, with COVID lockdown, colleges have gone through a really difficult time. Obviously, students have gone through a difficult time as well. Can you sort of give any insight into sort of how the colleges and students have managed to sort of, again, go, teaching and learning digital form? What's the sort of feedback that you've received, from them?
I think colleges are an incredibly resilient part of our education system. They're so used to being forgotten or, third thought about after schools and universities, that they're really good at just getting on with it and that's exactly what we've needed during lockdown, during a global pandemic, during localized lockdowns, digital learning. They're really well suited, I think, colleges to adapting now to a digital or a blended learning platform. And they're really well placed to support students who, whether they're 16 to 19, which is the predominant market, or whether they're adult learners, colleges are really well placed to support them with their mental health as well, with their physical well-being, with other factors that are part of their life as well, whether that's childcare or relative care, transport difficulties. Colleges are there to support students into additional skills, into retraining, into access to higher education. It's a tough time for the entire education system, of course it is, but colleges, if they're supported properly through, we're expecting an FE white paper later this year. We've got the comprehensive spending review as well coming out hopefully later this year. If colleges are supported the way that the association calls for them to be, then there's no stopping them, and they should be recognised as being that much more positive option for learners.
You mentioned there that the colleges are supporting people not only digitally and with their learning and teaching and all that kind of thing, but also with their mental health. Now, I know that you've been focusing quite heavily and doing a lot of work with the mental health. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So AOC Sport is an operational partner of the charity Mind, and we engage quite heavily through some of their campaigns and through our own work as well. We're launching this year, so 2020 to 2021, our first series of mental health ambassadors who will be students specifically trained through Mind and AOC Sport to best support their peers on that peer-to-peer support system. I know Active IQ, you've got an award in mental health awareness as well. All of the PTs, importantly as well, have had access to the Active IQ Skills Hub, which has, I'm going to get the number wrong, 10 or so mental health CPD sessions. I think I did about 4 or 5 of them. I have my purple certificate somewhere.
Well done.
Everybody's so much more aware that they need to take care of their mental health, their mental well-being, and to be supportive of everybody else in their mental well-being. I heard a brilliant saying the other day, which I'm now loving, which was, if you don't take care of your wellness, you'll have to take care of your illness. And that transcribes perfectly to your mental well-being as well, especially during a pandemic, especially when you're starting a new business. So why not support these college students through other mental well-being activities, as well as supporting their learning as well?
No, I agree. It's fantastic. So, of course, the colleges returned last week. Mm-hmm. So, again, any initial feedback of, again, how they're coping, how they've adapted, how the students are feeling? Again, talking to some of the finalists yesterday, they're like, oh, okay, so we've now got a mixed, a blended approach where one day we're in college, one day we're, on Zoom again. Can you say a little bit more about, how they have adapted and again, all the hard work that colleges have done, Christopher, behind the scenes?
Yeah, there's been a lot of planning going into this induction process, which for many colleges has been blended, part digital, part in person. Some colleges are facing struggles with timetabling, so only being able to have certain capacities within the organisation, within the buildings and within classrooms at any one time. I think the fitness students, those that we work with predominantly for the competition, are again more used to that blended experience anyway, because they'll be either going out to work in large leisure providers, large centres, or they're working individually anyway from home, using their own initiative, using of online platforms. And it doesn't take very long for that to become habit. Colleges are quite well supported by some of the Association of Colleges' partners to digitise, to utilise new technologies, new platforms. And there's support out there for them as well for extra things like cybersecurity, again, through the association and through some of partners like JISC, for example, who provide all the digital solutions. That, like I said, they'll overcome the challenges of having to see what digital and blended learning looks like, and support their students as best as they can.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And of course, if we can obviously help with any of the support in the colleges, and of course the mental health piece, we are here, and obviously would love to be a part of that, because it's really, really important. And the more, again, like you say, the more messaging that colleges, teachers, students, everybody really can get involved with spreading that word. And I love that quote, so we might be pinching that as well.
I'm sure whose it is. It may be copyrighted by someone else.
But who's worried about copywriting right now? Nobody. I'm just going to say Christopher Pitt said. So before we let you go, Angus, finalists, can you call it top 3 yet or not? I know you won't tell me names, by the way, but in your own head, sort of thing.
No, I can't call it at the minute. No, it's going to be a tight competition.
Christopher, same.
That's why we upped to 10, because we'd be so sure that it was going to be a close competition. Yeah.
Can't thank you both enough for joining us today. Thank you so much. I'm sure everyone will enjoy learning so much more about the competition, the finalists as we go, and of course the important work that you guys, and obviously Christopher, you're doing behind the scenes with the colleges, supporting them, and of course the amazing mental health piece. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Good luck with it all, Angus. Can't wait to see what happens. Obviously finalists, good luck to all of you watching as well, and bring it on 2020, and of course 2021 we're back at the NEC, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you both so much, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.